Guess what, everybody? We are on the other side of the election. I'm Tiffany.
Woo! And I'm Andrea.
And we are not only relatively unstable, much like the last 4 years, we don't have any idea what the fuck we're doing or talking about. All that's about to
Yes.
change. We're about to learn something. We're about to hear complete sentences. We
Fully
are
formed thoughts.
fully formed thoughts. We might even, I don't know, get a new policy that's beneficial to most. I don't know. We might do something like that.
It's
I
possible.
don't know politics, but we're going to talk about it anyway. And we have with us today Jalen. Jalen, you want to introduce yourself?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Jalen. I am a Detroit native and Howard alum. Yes, I had to throw that in there just because.
and also an AKA like our VP. So both a Howard alum and AKA. So yeah.
I'm basically the vice
And
president.
she's Black. We've got all this stuff. So basically, we're Kamala adjacent today.
Correct. Right now. Yes.
A few
Kamala
degrees
adjacent. And we can have the voice of someone who is much fresher than we are.
Yes. Probably more stable than we are too.
Barely.
Absolutely. Jalen, was this your first presidential election voting?
No, unfortunately, my first presidential election voting was 2016. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not, unfortunately, that's fortunate because I'm sure you contributed to the correct side.
Of course.
And I think we can fairly say there is a right and wrong side on this one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, to the nonsense of the last week and a half. So, Jalen, were you prepared as a new voter and I'm assuming you were just entering college at that time too?
Yes. Well, this was my senior year, actually. I was about to exit.
Okay. What was it like being in DC over the last few years?
So I left so I was in DC that election night and I left DC spring 2017. But DC definitely changed a lot. In my I frequent DC quite a bit. But I just vividly remember that election night, attending Howard, we always would watch the election results in Blackburn Ballroom together. People from all classes would come. We would just sit, watch the polls. And I remember thinking that day, I was like, oh my gosh, Detroit's gonna save us. Like they're counting Wayne County. Detroit is in Wayne County. Oh my gosh. They're going to save us. Michigan is going to stay blue. And when Michigan went red, I was like, whoa, what is happening? I remember like the next day after, I think we all had a call we had to call the chapel as a school. I just remember telling my mom, like, I can't believe this is how people really feel. And then taking it kind of, unfortunately, internalizing it, seeing what that meant about how people felt about people that look like all of us sitting here on this podcast, just like, this means that basically screw me, screw my family, people who have immigrant relatives or who may be immigrants themselves, people who are part of different marginalized groups. I definitely remember internalizing that probably for that entire month. Like, I just can't believe this is happening. I think we all drank on Inauguration Day. I don't think we typically don't have on Inauguration Day, but we just drank. We're just like, let's just drown our sorrows because we can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
I have to say
I definitely remember.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that I remember I was over a friend's house, and it was a few of us gathered, and we all were just kind of like in shock, and like literally, like when Michigan turned red, like we were like, it was like almost like a surreal moment. It was. This is hyperbole and no disrespect, but like it was one of those moments where like you remember where you were, like similar to like 9/11, like you remember like where you were when you realize that like this was about to happen. And like I look at my on this day, like around that time in 2016, and I'm just like, yeah, like we were like I woke up feeling very, very fucked up. Like very
Yeah.
like what does this mean for me? What does this mean for like people that I love? Like what does this mean? And then like I think I took that day off of work, to be honest.
Smart.
Just because like I didn't want to have to like smile and fake it. Like, you know, and pretend that everything was okay. And there was a coworker. Um, so this is when I was working in advertising, and there was a coworker who, like, prior to that election day, was very vocal about her support of Trump, and you know, we had a I forgot what it was called, but it was like a group, like a group meeting,
Like a
lunchtime meeting.
huddle.
Yeah. Um, where we held mock elections. Now, people might say like that's not work appropriate, but like we were like it was a small enough agency, and we respected each other enough to where it to not get weird. Except when homegirl was like, "Oh, I'm voting for Trump," and we asked why, and she's like, "Oh, because my husband is a police officer, and here's the kicker." And Obama went to the funeral of Michael Brown, and how could he support that? So like I looked at her and I was just like I don't even want to waste my time explaining to you how illogical what you just said is, because one, it's just not true. Like he was not at the funeral. Two, Michael Brown wasn't a fucking police officer. He's not the one that got killed. So your rationale of, you know, back the blue and support blue lives, that shit, like the example that you said and your rationale for voting for Trump doesn't make sense, because the cop was okay. The cop is alive. Michael Brown is the one that basically was like a beached whale on
Right.
the streets of St. Louis in 90-degree weather for 4 hours. Like, let me calm down. But yeah, so that, like, it just kind of opened me up to like realize that, you know, that we all likely work with people or interact with people that either tolerate us or think we're the good Negroes, or, you know, we're the ones that are not like those other Black folks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to tell you, but I am though. I am one of those
For
Black
real.
folks.
Do
And
not get it twisted.
like we are the Black folks that you are, you know, scared of or intimidated by. Like, yeah, we got
Or
all
you
of
saw my look, I, you know, I don't seem intimidating, but come for me, please. You know, I might, you know, please,
Let me show you.
please. You know, I just, and you know, to be fair, as Black people, we, you know, we have our own things that we keep in the house. You know, we keep our business in the house, so to speak. However, y'all can't do that. Y'all cannot come for us and expect to get away with it. Not today. And to your point, Andrea, it's so funny. I'm hearing, you know, Jalen, I'm hearing you. I'm thinking about myself at your age. My first election was Bill Clinton, and I was not half as aware, and I couldn't wait to vote. So we had 1 second of technical glitch, but what I was saying was that I don't remember being as aware as Jalen is right now. And I don't, it's not even that I don't remember. I know 100% I was not. But I was still so excited to be able to vote. I was still in high school. I have an early birthday. So I was like thinking, you know, I knew this was something. And of course, progressively, you know, I got older, I became a little more in tune and aware, just a little bit. However, you know, the two elections that obviously stand out for me are Obama and 2016. Well, now this, you know, now there are several, but those were like the two. And to Andrea's point about remembering where you were, like I remember it, I would even probably thinking back, I probably had on the same pajamas that I had on the night that Obama was elected the first time. And I remember just the feeling of like being overwhelmed. I had taken my oldest son with me to vote that day and just being overwhelmed. And then the night that this motherfucker was elected, I remember like watching the you know, CNN and looking like, wait, what's really going on? Like this cannot be happening. You know, then it's like, okay, there was just no way Hillary Clinton is not about to win. And in this election, I'm watching with my younger son. You know, and so I'm like sitting there like, this cannot be happening.
Right.
And I'm watching, and I'm like, and to Jalen's point about turning red and blue, I don't know that I really got that until so excuse me, because we did have one more technical difficulty, and I was talking about unstable. It is unstable. Apparently, yeah. So we were talking about just watching the states flip from red to blue, and how it wasn't until that 2016 election, you know, you watch it like Obama, the impact of Obama was just like, okay, he's winning, period. I wasn't really like connecting the dots like I should. And then, I mean, like, you know, but it wasn't like, oh my God, it wasn't like that visual with it. But that election, I was like literally shaking, like that traumatic shake, like the same shake, you know, when I lost my father. Like that's how traumatic it was. Like I understood the impact, and I was just like, you know, rocking back and forth. It's like that same traumatic rock back and forth when like my little baby, which, you know, had surgery, like, oh my God, like something, you know, like just nerves. And then this one, same thing. Only, you know, now it's lasting days. And this election, we're like glued to the television for days. At least I know we were in my house.
Yep.
I mean, like days. And I have become so much more well acquainted with CNN
and John King.
Look here, I've been on John King. Look, get a silver fox who's just so, you know, regular and just knows what he's talking about, and and oh, do I love a good sneak diss. And he just had all of that. He has all of that. And then on top of that, like, also, this is so sidebar, you can tell he loves his work. You can tell that he only slept because he had to. Right. And that, look, John has an open invitation to the cookout after COVID.
Right. Yeah, so my first election that I voted for was the 2000 election, which was highly contested between Bush and Gore. And I remember, and similar to you, like I wasn't really like invested in it. Like,
yeah, that's a good word.
But I do remember feeling like, so this is the first time I'm voting, and now this shit got to go to the Supreme Court to get, like, and it was just like so extra, like it just wasn't straightforward. With Obama's terms, both terms, like, yeah, I felt at ease, and I felt like okay. I mean, and I didn't agree with Obama with a few things, but like overall, I felt okay about it.
In good hands.
Yeah, in good hands.
Is your fried chicken there?
My fried chicken. You see the face though? But did you see the face of elation? Like,
oh, chicken. Oh, damn.
How do you celebrate a Black person in the White House? Fried chicken.
Fried chicken.
I'm hungry because we have fried chicken.
So the other thing was, so I watched this documentary with, it was about Pete Souza, I think that's how you say his last name, the Obama official photographer.
Yeah.
And so, he is the shade master. He is like, and it's so slick and it's so cool. Like, so just like not even, it's barely registering if you're not paying attention. And even watching, because they show clips of like when Obama first won, and I think they were probably in Chicago, so like the crowds and like people were so emotional. Even watching that back now, like 12 years later, like I still got emotional in that moment, like watching people get emotional about this change and the hope and like electing a Black president, and like that felt so good to kind of be in, to know that you are in good company of people that want to see the country be better.
Yeah.
Like in 2016, it was the opposite of that. It was like, now I'm in company with people that want me to not have as many rights or to not have the same rights, or, like, and it was just, yeah, it was a lot.
And these are things that we know, right? These are things that we already knew, but I think we've grown comfortable in our survival or our existence. We've grown comfortable knowing that we can say what we want and however, and we know as Black people, we are only relatively safe, but we take comfort in that relative safety. Like we move about in our lives, we set goals, we continue to work, we continue to excel, we continue to advance and all that. And, up until that point, in our lifetime, meaning our generation, we kind of have been able to navigate those dynamics. Now, let's not say turn 2016, up 20 as the whole campaign, and then after, the hate and the just the nonsense. Here's one thing. Let me say this.
Right. It's about to get real when the glasses come off.
Look, this is one thing that is so infuriating about the whole thing. And that is this. One of the things that we have to deal with on a daily basis that is frustrating to us and kills our spirit is that there are people who are far less intelligent, far less skilled, far less moral than we are, who are getting opportunities that are far grander than we do. And when we are sitting there watching this happened primarily because of the ignorance that is so blatant, and having to be subjected to, when you have this nation where we as Black people have worked so hard to be educated, whether it be formally educated or, skilled, or just, the school of life, we're an educated people.
Yep.
We get on our bullshit, but we are an educated people. And the people I know, and to have to sit there and listen to not only the leader of the free world sound like my 4-year-old nieces are smarter, but then to have to watch him allow all these other people who haven't even tried convince us why his hateful, ignorant, uneducated, unresearched, like I do more research in one day at work than he's done in 4 years on anything.
Because he doesn't read.
Because he does not read. He does not read. And to have to be subjected to that, I think that's for me one of those things that I'm like, it's like when you have a supervisor and you're like,
how you my supervisor and I know more than you? How?
Supervisor, and like not just I know more than you, like you're stupid.
Right. My thing, the thing like that for me is, this might be two different thoughts, but I'm gonna just say it. So one, people that consistently vote against their own interests.
But swear they aren't.
Two, people who, so if you go into any comment section where they talk about leftists and the elite and all of this, and it's like, how, like the line between what they think is elite, what they think, whatever they think that makes Obama elite, the line is so thin between that and Trump. And what I mean by that, as far as like money, access, celebrity, like they think that Trump is for the people and he's a man of the people, but they don't realize that the only thing that's separating, I mean, not the only thing, but one of the things that is separating Obama from Trump is the fact that Obama is educated and like very well educated and like has exceeded.
Yeah, overly educated.
He's exceeded, like coursework and like expectations and all of that.
But they're in the coursework.
Right. But they're both rich. They both have access to celebrity. They both can run in the same circles, like, so this idea of education being elite says a lot about what we value in this country. Because obviously we don't value education if we think of it as something that only the elite can have, and the elite is now public enemy number one, apparently. But like, we should want someone that is more educated than us. The farmer in backwoods Maryland, Pennsylvania, Iowa, Idaho, wherever the hell, you should want someone that has more of a world view than you, because you've only been on your farm for the last 6 family. I want to interject at that point. Oh, sorry, I'm whispering.
Jalen, yeah. So just to interject at that point of the not having the world view, I think that's one of the many differences between Trump and President Obama is that Trump wanted to build a wall. He was fine being mediocre and being here and saying, oh, you know, as opposed to saying, hey, we have this competition in other countries, let's have a more global mindset. Let's prepare to compete so we can, you know, maintain, oh no, we're going to build a wall. We're going to not outsource these jobs. We're keeping everything here. So I would say that that's the difference because these people can relate to, oh no, white is right, America this, X, Y, and Z, whatever else. And again, for the people, meaning I would argue that, you know, we're all college educated and things like that. We hold ourselves to, again, speaking back to education being elite. For us, I would say education was the minimum, the requirement. Even going back to comparing President Obama and Trump, there was no way that he would have made it to the White House with Trump's resume.
Nope.
At all.
Nope.
Not at all. So I would say that that even goes just to, I would speak and dare say a lot of times, sometimes people are able to, not sometimes, a lot of times people are able to get things based off the color of their skin alone, just because you check a box. And that was a clear example of Trump. Trump gave those people hope. Like, oh, hey, you know, white is still right. I can do this. I don't have to have a worldly education and go out of my way. But the expectation for people of color or people in marginalized groups is so high.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I would say that that's a true testament to that.
And then,
sorry for
no. And then also I saw a meme, and I'm not going to get all of her qualifications right, but there's a meme about Stacey Abrams where, you know, she's some kind of scholar, Yale, JD, you know, like all kinds of accolades, very, you know, highly educated, obviously. And on top of the fact being a Black woman, and that wasn't enough for her to be governor. But the governor of Georgia just has an agricultural degree from, I think, University of Georgia, I think maybe, I don't even know. But like, it just goes to show you, I mean, and this is something that has been said in Black families, like probably since slavery, you know, like you have to be better. Like, you know, you have to be 2 times better, 3 times, 10 times better than your white counterparts just to even get half of the same, you know, opportunities. And like, that's never been more obvious when it comes to, like, I mean, I know I've seen it in person and in my life, but like this is never been more obvious when you look at somebody like Stacey Abrams, when you look at somebody like President Obama, who I will only say President Obama, and I will just say Trump because
retweet. Yes.
I don't acknowledge that.
He gets no love on this show.
No.
Cut to Chrissy Teigen.
Right.
Look. Yeah. I think too, that was a good segue into talking about, one, some of the heroes of this election, but two, speaking to, I think it's part of where we are as Black people. I think Stacey Abrams is not only, you know, doesn't only exemplify how extra we have to be with it, how much more driven we have to be. She also exemplifies the resilience that we have to put up with this shit. And she exemplified it on a level much higher than I'll ever go. Like, you know, but we take our L's and we can't just, you know, back off.
Right.
If we're for the greater good.
Right.
You know, she took her L. She knew she didn't deserve it. She knew she deserved to win that election. But she said, okay, that's fine. But y'all aren't going to keep us all down.
Right.
And she continued to work. And that to me is like, that's saying, you know, this ain't about me. This is about all of us. And what we've seen over the last 4 years is this is about me. And not just at the top, he was speaking to the people who it's only about me. There's no greater good
Right.
Nothing and no one is going to be perfect, and particularly when we're talking about politics. But go ahead.
I just want to say one other thing that I love about Stacey Abrams' rise to, you know, being a household name is I love the fact that she is obviously Black. I love the fact that she has natural hair. I love the fact that she's not a size 6. And I think that like that representation, oh, and she's also, you know, a brown skin or dark skinned woman, however you want to classify it. And I think that that representation is also super important because, you know, we are still fighting, you know, and 2/3 of this podcast right now is team light skin, team long hair. I mean, well, team light skin, but her hair is curly and long too. But you know, I think that far too often we're seeing too much of us. That being Andrea and Tiffany. And you know, we can do a whole podcast on why that is.
And we will. We've already talked about that.
Yes.
We know what's up. Just so.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that it's so important for young brown girls who are natural or otherwise, who are a size 6 or otherwise, size 14 or 6 or 20 or whatever, to see themselves as somebody that can really affect change, and not just in a like, oh, I'm changing my life and I'm doing this in my family, but I'm doing this in my family, I'm doing this in my neighborhood, I'm doing this in my community, I'm doing this in my county, in my town, in my state. Like, and I feel like that's just so important. And I'm glad that she's the face of that. And I know that to also say that there's also been memes going around about how she's not the only one. And unfortunately, I don't know the names of the other women, but we will tag them or say their names.
Simone Sanders, you know, she's young. And another we'll switch to that in a minute, but I just have to say that I'm trying to adopt that Abby Phillip. I mean, there's enough age difference that she could be my daughter. I mean, I would have been, you know, real fast, but she could be my daughter. I mean, that's another one who I'm just like, I can't, like, what this election has shown me, what these last 4 years has shown me, is that I made some really bad choices.
Correct. Correct. I'm like, wait, so we the same age, or you younger than me, and this is where you at?
This election showed me that I made some really bad choices and I paid attention to the wrong things. And I would, you know, as political as I would get would be to like write a check to a local campaign because somebody, you know, like a friend of mine was involved in it or something like that. And, you know, I went to a couple events, whatever, but I'm just impressed. I am impressed, and just also it makes me question myself as a parent too, because I'm like, who raised you? But it shows, it shows again who we are as people. You know, Stacey Abrams, in all she did, and as resilient as she is, and as articulate and eloquent as she is, she did all that, but she did all that. All she really did was say, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck your hate. Fuck your, you know, inability to see a bigger picture. Just, you know, fuck you. And the way we do that is just so masterful. You know, but I also want to give a shout out to George Bush, because he did the same thing, and I am also quite impressed with his very well written. And I left my phone in the other room, Otherwise, I would read it verbatim. Congratulations to Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be fair.
Yeah.
Y'all stepped up.
Yeah. And you know, and it's similar to, and stay with me with this analogy, but it's similar to like when you read stories about how, you know, these soul food traditions that we have now are based in, you know, slavery times where food was scarce and they had to make dinner out of something, out of scraps. Like, we are a scrappy people. Like, we get shit done and we make shit out of nothing all the time. And we have all the time. Like, we came to this country with not even speaking the language. And within 50 to 60 years, we have taught our children, we've learned the language. We taught our children the language. They got into school. Like, I mean, like, when you really think about it like that, it's mind blowing. And I don't have the vocabulary really to explain like how just incredibly like proud I feel when I think about like just how far we've come from where we were, even though we still got a long ways to go. But, you know, like, we didn't even know the fucking language.
Right.
We didn't even know English.
Right.
And we've learned it and mastered it and built schools and became doctors and congressmen and teachers and like, we did it. It's lit. It's lit. Being Black is lit.
Straight up. And, you know, I think too, just recognizing that we can't be stopped. You can, we're always kind of traveling through the mud, navigating, you know, some of us who, to your point, Andrea, don't have the best interest, specific person running for office in the state of Michigan. But you know, I think that, again, we just, I don't know, I feel like somehow in this election, we managed over the last 4 years, because while Trump got entirely too much shine in the way of votes, and while President-elect Biden is now, I think, somewhere around 5 million votes ahead.
Still close.
That's still too close.
Too close. However,
pause for a second. So we're gonna let Jalen go. But
Jalen, thank you for joining us.
For joining us and being the voice of the youth.
Yes, thank you so much. I love it. This is great. I'm like, I will tune in all the time. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So now, okay, because now this is musical chair. So now Thad's gonna join.
I'm just kidding. I'm not going to join. I just wanted to say hi.
Well, you're on because we're recording.
No, she said she paused it.
No.
Oh, that's what the red dot means.
Yeah, it means recording. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Welcome back.
Oh, hi. Yes. As we talked about fathers in the previous one, and I've just left my child astray.
That's right, honey.
But obviously you fed her.
Yeah.
So, totally. So did you made the fried chicken?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Popeyes.
Oh, shit. I thought you cooked. I thought you drove all the way down there because nobody drives to just bring Popeyes. People drive to show off. Didn't we have this conversation already about showing off your cooking? That was last podcast, wasn't it, Andrea?
Yes.
Oh, it was apparently missing. Are we gonna have this Thanksgiving episode where I outcook everybody with macaroni and cheese?
Oh, bullshit.
Okay. I'm gonna take it back to a couple episodes ago where my friend Jimmy, who was
Right.
hilarious, pew, 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 pew. We have alarm has been called a duel between the mac and cheeses of Thad and Tiffany, and I am here for
Let me
it.
get out my sword.
Right.
I'm gonna take this paper towel and I'm gonna use it as a glove and go.
Here's the
Yeah.
Uh,
Take 10 steps and turn around and show us your pan.
Oh, I'm with it. I am with it.
so
I am light skinned, but my macaroni and cheese is about it.
okay, and I'm ready to taste it. So yeah, let's make that happen. But Thad,
I'm so with it.
do you have any comments or anything about what we've been talking about politically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, being that I lost a lot of sleep, looking at, refreshing 538 and CNN like everyone else had, listening to just the multiple pundits. And the good thing I got of it is I got a good 24-hour cycle of Lemon, Cuomo. I watched CNN mostly. I was a Lewis. No, is that his name? Lewis, the board guy. Some people like Kornacki on the board.
Oh.
Steve King.
John King.
John King. I'm a John King.
Mm-hmm. With them thick ass hands. Have y'all noticed how thick his hands are?
They are.
Fingers? Like, damn.
He maneuvers that board. He's so dexterous.
Yeah, like look at them thick ass fingers all around. Okay.
It gave me visions of 4 years ago. I remember how I felt thinking it was going to be one way and turn out another. And 2020 was as you starting to watch it during the day, you start to just see this avenue of thinking like more people won't vote for him this time than they did before.
Because he was unknown. I mean,
right.
We knew, but like.
But
right.
But now, right. but then we have 4 years of knowing just how disastrous he could be.
Yeah, but I mean, I think what befuddles me is just the ignorance that kind of comes from the other side of it, like the ignorance of their own facts that they will forget a couple of years later. They had a big thing on the Daily Show about how 2018 Democrats should, Stacey Abrams,
Mm-hmm.
just accept the results of their election, right. Go through that. And 2 years later, they're like, no, they shouldn't concede. You should go through everything possible. But it's not that, it's the known ignorance of the supporters that don't even know what they're kind of supporting. And I think that's oftentimes just hurtful. And I think another thing that kind of hurts me too is I'm really going on a diatribe here. I must have really needed to get this out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that I've always been a person that hated two-party politics, like the notion that you can only go into an ice cream store and choose vanilla or chocolate, and that's it. I'm a vanilla guy, but
I like both.
But certain things kind of have to be slotted into this, like, oh, if you believe in religion, then you have to be a conservative. Oh, if you believe in the notion of helping all your people, you must be this, but you can't, races are on one side, it seems like, and so it's always just been a frustrating notion in an exhausting political cycle. I feel like the only people that all that ends up happening is that people make money, advertisers, blah blah blah. Anyway, I really went left field. Sorry, but
that's what we do.
Yeah, but I really started to go left. I was about to be like, and the man, what was my man? Okay, anyway, it felt great. It felt good to win. I kind of almost felt like, what was it? With the Chris Rock thing was like, we won. What did you win? Like, you want a cookie? That's how it made me feel. But a good analysis of kind of like the mindset. I was listening to a podcast today. No, it was yesterday. It was Neil Brennan, the comedian. Mm-hmm. He has a podcast, and he kind of broke down this ideology of kind of like why people like Trump versus liking Obama or liking certain politicians. And they were like, the reason that a certain class of people tend to really gravitate towards him was that Trump was this rich person that wasn't accepted by the rich community. Like he always had no taste. He had always had this, and for some reason they related to this mindset. That don't mean it was right. It's just they related to this ignorance of that, and then they looked at someone like Biden, someone like Obama as truly an elitist, and they looked at this democratic mindset as an elitist, when in reality it's the true nature of democracy. It's the true nature of what we're trying to do as a country, and I think that's what ends up hurting us in terms of just still being aware that this is huge divide that seems to just keep growing and growing and growing. Because I don't feel like Biden winners are like, we're more prone to reach across the aisle and like show support to a Trump supporter or show more empathy or sympathy. When it's turned the other way around, it doesn't happen the other way. So, and I feel like that's the nature of being everything. It's the nature of being Black. It's the nature of being a minority, the nature of being a woman, nature of being a lot of things where you feel like the minority is oftentimes reaching across the aisle.
Yeah, we're conditioned to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're conditioned to make someone else feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that the Trump supporters like about him is that he made it very us against them.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had read an article, I think this article came out in like 2017, maybe 2018. And I recently just read it again because it was starting to make the rounds. And the quote from a woman that was a Trump supporter was like, I'm paraphrasing, but saying he's hurt, he promises to hurt the right people. And like, if you dissect that, like, that means that you believe that there's people that deserve to be hurt and there's people that deserve to not have what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And that just like you have the right to have what you have, they should be punished for not having what you have or punished for trying to get what you have legally or illegally, however it is. But like the fact that someone could, and this was like a woman talking to a reporter. So like she was okay with saying publicly, I believe that there's a certain class of people that deserve to not have, or that they deserve to be hurt. They deserve to have their rights taken away or to not be given certain rights. And like, where the fuck are we at as a country when that happens? Like,
we are 5 million people away from having been in the same position. That's what we are.
And that's the irony, is that the notion of this democracy is that we're actually the majority, but the way that it's constructed can make you feel like a minority.
mm-hmm.
Just for the in that idealism, in the way that it's constructed, like the fundamental things of kind of everybody having a voice doesn't feel that way here, because they make you want to feel bad for voting by mail, in an election where there's a global pandemic. And because of that, that's the only reason the candidate won versus not winning. And I just thought I thought the irony was so great that it was because of the pandemic that there was an increase in mail-in voting, which caused you to lose, which is a situation in which you could have controlled from the beginning, to not have to even gone through the process the way that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, that's why you lost.
And the fact that like we, like however many 70 million people voted for a man who was who is the, you know, the commander in chief of our country, and that has allowed 250,000 people to die. How the fuck is it this close?
And more. And going.
Ain't over.
Yeah.
It's,
So like,
because
like-
you know why? Because what community was most affected?
mhm.
Ours. So while in numbers we didn't match in numbers, I think it was like what 13% of total cases or something like that. That was, I haven't read the numbers in a while, but I think 13% of total cases. But if you look at our community as a whole, it was like a 40%.
Mhm.
Don't come at me about stats. I'm not good at them. I just know it was bad.
Right.
But what they saw, they weren't, and not only that, if you have that mindset of hurt the right people, and if you have that mindset, like, you know, if these are the same people who are leaning on the whole, don't at me about this either, the whole biblical theme of, you know, kind of like that, you know, reap what you sow type
Mhm.
thing, and they're really believing that, you know, these are bad people, that we are bad people, or that people who come into our country just because they weren't born here are bad people, or, you know, people who have abortions even though it's their own daughters and wives and mistresses having abortions are bad people. If that is the mindset, then if grandma dies because of COVID, then, you know, that really is a one-off. And, you know,
Right.
like that's the only thing in my mind that can justify letting that slide. And, you know, was it who was it that was talking? I've consumed so much in the last week that you would think I would be like way more articulate, but I think it's like, you know, now it's like starting
Overload.
to sit in my mind, right? But somebody was saying how, you know, basically the idea of Trump getting COVID and then allowing himself to be treated and healed miraculously, like while he let everyone else die. Like who would allow that? Like that would be like me as a mother being like, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead and take this last little bit of oxygen from you, Jacob, even though we both have asthma and you're sitting there wheezing, and, you know, I'm gonna just take this inhaler right here and you'll be all right. You
It's
know,
insane. It's
like,
insane.
it's insane. It is insane.
Well, it used to be the thing that used to take pride in politics was people would go into it for the role of public service and not self-serving. And I feel like that's the change in it, is that there's a notoriety and popularity to politics where it went away from serving the people to serving themselves. You know, you had Republican governors openly sourcing for their own, you know, funding on that, you know, during what's it, was that the Supreme Court hearings, you know.
Oh, we got somebody smart on here.
Lindsay, yeah, I did a little bit. I gotta let this off somehow. I was like, I take in all this stuff, but, you know, Lindsey Graham was doing all that stuff. I mean, I read, because I was so big on the Senate ones. Like, I was like, I want the president to win, but more importantly, I wanted a good, solid Senate majority, because I just felt like that's been the major roadblock in its back. And if I had to look at the snapping turtle just as much, I can't stand him just as much as I couldn't stand Donald Trump.
Yep.
He seemed like he wielded more power than Donald Trump. He didn't wield the popularity, but he wielded just as much power in terms of like tilting the Supreme Court, you know, the numbers, and really stopping any Obama type of progress over his last 4 to 6 years of service, you you just found all of this just kind of like this elitism. And one thing I just was refreshing I liked about Joe Biden was just that he was a person that just seemed like he's a natural public servant, like,
Mhm.
and you want those kind of people in office. You just want those kind of people that, like you said, are willing to kind of give of themselves for the nature of the people rather than just being self-serving, because Trump is self-serving. I mean, everything is about building his brand, making him money, even while in office, out of office, whatever he chooses to do next. People are still going to fund him money and it's still going to make money. And I just want him out of the realm of public service. He can be the most evil person. I don't give a fuck what can we say fuck?
Oh,
Okay.
Totally say fuck.
Yes. Okay. Good. Fuck. Anyway.
Oh wait, did you see my earrings?
I can't see them.
oh, we can't really
Oh,
see
wait.
them.
Can you see
I
them?
really, I
Yeah,
mean,
we can't see them.
I don't have my glasses
I
on.
don't know. They're little, yeah,
Oh, see?
How cute.
real petite. So if Jake asked me about it, I could say it's
Right.
I always tell my daughter that. That's what I say. I say, Nina, you're number one. And she knows exactly what I mean. She's just like, you're number one too.
Yeah.
Anyway, which brings to another point, because even my daughter that's 16, so even by the next midterm, she'll be a voter. She could be so aware of the differences and the genuine nature of people, and liking one versus the other and not understanding why someone would want to vote for this particular person, and having to argue with other teenagers her age
yeah.
that can't vote yet, that just thought I'd vote for Trump because it's cool, the thing to do, and blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, so you're hoping that there's hope in that, but I mean, it's a lot. All I want is the return of public servants, and I really truly wish that the politics. I mean, that's what the people that we are aware of, the Stacey Abrams of the world. What's our lieutenant governor here? Gilchrist, right?
Yep.
Chris, yeah.
Garland.
Those are people that I just epitomize to me like public servants, people that were built and made to be in these roles, to govern people and oversee people. And it's not a popularity contest. I met the thousands of people that voted for Kanye West. Yes, exactly. Like, I don't want The Rock to run for president in 2024.
No,
I'm just saying.
Right, because we need to get away from, I mean, it goes back to the whole, like, the right feeling like somebody being educated is elite. Like, I don't want someone that is a celebrity to be the president. Like, we need to get away from that. And the reason why Trump was, I mean, outside of just him being what I would consider just a garbage juice human being, like, the fact that the appeal was that he's going to run this country like a business. Well, when you run a country like a business, we're all fucking line items. We are all being measured up against the bottom line. And you can't treat human life like that, because it's not so black and white.
Right.
Like, you can't, oh, healthcare is costing us too much, let's strip it, done. Well, that leaves 2.5 million people without healthcare. And don't at me, because I just made that number up. It could be more, it could be less. I don't know. A whole shit ton of people don't have healthcare, or if he had would have been stripped of all of their healthcare.
But you know what? He would know that if he didn't sign that stupid ass executive order against diversity training. He would know these things if he himself would take part. And it's not just training. I mean, this is something I'm very serious about. It doesn't end in training. It doesn't stop at training. It is about practice and implementation as well. So, but if he did not go there, maybe he would know some of these things. Maybe if he sat in a risk forward trading once in a while, or I don't know.
No, he just wants the platinum plan.
Yep. Platinum plan, can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
Bling this plan.
The no limit plan.
No limit plan.
With,
I thought I told you.
With Andrea drawing the background for the plan.
So, the bottom line, not the bottom line, but public servants aren't perfect. Public service does not mean perfect, but it also doesn't mean fuckboy.
It don't mean fuckboy.
And it is. I will say that I think Thaddeus was kind of going here, and the election, voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris doesn't mean we think they are saviors, or that that they're going to turn things around immediately, because one thing, destruction is quick. Destruction is quick. The reason Trump was able to do so much is because so much of what he has done is destructive, and that takes no time at all. I can tear shit up immediately. Like, I can sweep this whole counter in front of me immediately, but it's going to take me 3 hours to put it back together again. So no one's expecting miracles. What I think we're one of the things that I think, or the priority, the umbrella thing that I know I was voting for, was just a blockade to the bullshit, a blockade to the hate, like an umbrella, like we are relatively unstable. We need stability as a country. We need some sense of security. I, as a person, and I know I'm not alone, I can't just like I need leadership. Like, I feel like I am a leaderish type person, but I need leadership. I need to have confidence in order for me to act right. The person who is leading me has to act right. Otherwise, I'm going to act out, because I'm going to think I know better. And I'm not going to just fall in line. And that's when you have like all this chaos, that's what happens.
Yeah. And like, I don't know if people have heard about the train analogy with Biden and just elections in general, that like, you hit your wagon to the train that's going in the way that you want to go. It may not hit every stop. It may not get to your final destination of where you ultimately want to be, but it's going in your direction. So, and Jacqueline Baker, the wise one, Jacqueline Baker, said, yeah, it's like a transfer ticket. Like, this Biden-Harris ticket is like a transfer ticket. It's transferring us. We're using this to transfer us to get to a better place. And there's tons of criticisms that we can place on both Biden and Harris. They're Dems, but they are more central. They're not as progressive or not as left as we, as some people would like them to be. And I think that it's going to be a long time before we really get to see like some leftist policies, like these people are tripping on what they think socialism is. Like, we're so far from it. Like, we're probably a good 60 to 80 years maybe from really having policies that are super leftist. So like, we're good. Like, for us to be, as a country, to buy into like, for real universal healthcare, for real free college tuition, like for that shit to happen, like, we're so far from that, like so far. So
the other
This is
thing.
our transfer ticket. Like this gets us a little closer and a little closer and a little closer.
Fair, and I could live with baby steps.
Yeah.
I can live with baby steps forward. And here's the thing, I can even take a step backward here and there because going back to what I said, we're resilient. But you know, the other thing people, you know, whenever, you know, obviously when we have an election, records come into play and this and that. And what I believe, what I hopefully, you know, sit on is that there are people who evolve and who have the capacity and capability to evolve and, you know, understand, you know, just not change who they are, but change their way of thinking or change, you know, or learn from past actions. And then there are people who either don't evolve at all or who continue to regress. And I think that's the difference in what we have coming into office and what we have, you know, being dragged out of office is
Literally dragged.
yes, is, you know, people who have the capacity to listen and evolve versus someone who is cognitively stunted. I'll take evolution.
Yep.
Or 1,000 Alex.
Yep.
Aw.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Alex Trebek.
I know. He was just like, he was like my dad and I, like, that was like our last thing every night before I went home.
Yeah, that was the person that, you know, I proved to my grandmother I was smart. Because I knew like 2 questions out of 20.
Right.
And forget to say what is.
Right.
I remember that was like one of my first computer games was Jeopardy.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And that's how I really knew I was getting smart because I'd remember the answers and be like, "Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo." And I was so, anyway, I get nerdy.
Jeopardy, like a Jeopardy game under my bed at the old house. I think I do, like the board game or whatever. And it's probably so old it has like the CD and.
Yeah, I think I had it on the Radio Shack computer. You know, showing my, when they used to come on those big floppies that were like this big.
Yes.
Like
oh my God.
And if you touched the middle, it was a wrap.
Right.
You touched the middle of that boy, it was a wrap.
What's the bottom line about this week? It's not quite over, but we're getting there.
It's not over. I think the energy still has to maintain because of Georgia. I mean, we still need
That's the bottom line.
Yeah. So we still need everyone to continue to show that support. Other than that, I think that the first thing we're trying to still take care of is COVID. And I mean, I think that I don't even care about the policies that he enriches in the first 90 days is if he can figure out, you know, COVID first. You know, I feel like that's a priority. That shows that you're caring about the people. And that's what I ultimately care about. I want all the people, you know. I believe, when he said red, blue, purple, like, yeah, you want this thing over. And if not, I hope Michigan decides that they want to be a part of Canada. They're already touching.
Yeah.
That way I ain't got to move, you know.
Right.
We'd be the dope ass province.
Yeah, I'm a good swimmer, so I can get away.
Yeah, we probably get, how many Great Lakes can we give them? Like 4? We can give them like 4.
Yeah, because Erie belongs that's the mistake, but by the lake.
Yeah,
that's Cleveland. The mistake by the lake.
I was gonna say, it's like Michigan touching Canada too.
I mean, this seems like a good time to say.
I don't think so. I think because isn't Superior?
Let's see, it's Holmes, it's Huron,
Ontario, Michigan, Erie.
All of us are in front of a computer, but none of us are looking at the map.
Not a one.
No, I'm looking at Dwayne and Whitley. Did you already talk about Dwayne and Whitley?
We did.
Okay.
I mean,
you like that?
Yeah, it took me like halfway through. I was like, why is Janet Jackson back there? And then I had to start realizing like,
well, I thought it was Michael Jackson, so that goes to show you. But my bottom line is to piggyback off of what Thad said about the Georgia Senate elections. I'm planning to donate to both candidates.
Warnock and Ossoff.
Yep. I actually was listening to, since I work from home now and for myself, like I don't listen to NPR nearly as much as I used to, but I listened to it while I was in DC last week, and I was really impressed with Warnock's interview. Like he's a pastor, and he just like, it just was very refreshing listening to him talk about how he wanted to like bring people of Georgia together. And I just thought that that was such a good message that we need to hear. So I'm going to be supporting both candidates. I don't remember the pun for Warnock, but I do remember the one for, it said, vote your ass off.
Yeah, vote your ass off.
I love a good pun. Vote your ass off. So, I mean, that alone makes me want to vote for him, but also because we need the Senate votes. So that's my bottom line. And waking up and hearing people blast "fuck Donald Trump," that was also a highlight. That was also a highlight.
Mm-hmm. Chrissy Teigen and John Legend's
right.
Instagram. Life. Yeah. And for me, I think quite simply, Georgia, keep that same energy. We need you. But you know this. So just get up and get out. I think open voting starts, or early voting starts. I want to say December 7th, but I could totally be wrong on that date. It's sometime in December. So make sure, because now they're hip to us. They know that, you know, they know we turn out. So, and that was the point actually that I wanted to make earlier, is that I feel like as people, we were so vocal, we clearly scared the shit out of them. Mm-hmm. So now they see it coming, keep that same 3 steps ahead, keep going. Mm-hmm. I think the other thing is, you know, while again, not expecting miracles, I am looking forward to just breathing. And I am, if there's like a silver lining, I would say that my 10-year-old has been super involved in this process, and as I'm learning, he's learning, and he's pointing things out to me. And to your point, Andrea, just about kids seeing people who look like them, he legit said, and now, you know, doesn't have the same impact, but he legit said, like, her skin color is the same exact color as mine. You know, like he, you know, they notice these things. And I think the maybe last thing is, you know, he gonna shut up though at some point.
Yep.
So, you know, or we'll stop listening.
White House.
Yeah, they're gonna turn off the mic. So, Georgia, keep that same energy. Thanks for sticking it out with us. I think we forgot to say this. If you're sticking with us to the end of this, like, follow, share, subscribe, all that. Hopefully we'll get a few new listeners, lookers with that young, fresh face that we had in the beginning.
I know.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, we're definitely talking about you, Thad.
Young, fresh face. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Also, I feel like I should say that I deserve an award because I have been in the presence of chicken for about 45 minutes.
What's the stop you from eating your chicken?
Not...
It's a celebration. You can eat your chicken because that, you know,
This shit's about to get devoured. I mean,
What is that, Dad? What is that?
my voted stickers that nobody saw.
Oh, look at that. Look how talented. Look
Mm.
how talented she is.
So for my next trick, I'm going to have people be able to buy these or pass them out probably in the midterms, possibly.
Yeah, look.
Because I like to make things and then don't sell them. Because why?
And if y'all don't buy them, I'm going to make them pastels or pasties and put them on my.
Oh,
Definitely want to make sure we sell these in the midterm elections, everybody.
and we're going to hold Thaddeus to that.
And we're
Yep.
just going to cross out Detroit and put Atlanta because we can just say it.
Oh. How could we forget? Shout out to Detroit, Milwaukee,
Philly.
Atlanta,
The
rock this shit. The indigenous population in Arizona, man, rock that shit. Like, y'all did the thing. Some of our people in Detroit who made the national news, Daron, Candace,
Summer.
Ada, like you all did the thing, and Detroit and got their votes in and flipped that shit so quick.
So quick.
So, thanks for all of the work that you all did and everything you took. And again, resilience, man, like focus. Like, I am very proud every day to be Black, but look, y'all showed how it is done.
Yep.
They might be stubborn, but we can stand still. So try and get past this if you must, but we ain't going anywhere.
Nope.
So thank you to each and every person who did that and show the whole country, the world, because the world is watching us right now, how we do that shit. So good shit, good job. While the rest of us were sitting here watching and biting our nails, and I definitely just want to say this too, and I said this, like, I wish that I had, and it, I can say this after the fact because I wasn't there with you guys, but I wish that I had been far more involved in the process. And now I get it, and I won't sit as still as I did next time, and that's a promise. Hold me to it, because and I've tiptoed out in the past, but now I am ultra motivated and ultra inspired. So thank you to each and every person who was part of that and who got those votes in, and the people who are still counting today as we sit here and speak, even though we know who won and we know who's about to lose their job, and Andrea is going to eat her chicken. So
I am.
We will be back next time. Thaddeus, thank you for popping in, supplying chicken. Andrea's about to, eat her chicken and get some water for that biscuit. And
we're not doing this today, Tiffany. We not on the podcast I'm a part of. We're not doing this today.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh, but we'll come back to the biscuit.
Macaroni and cheese.
Did you hear that? Was that a shot?
He said it's about as dry as your macaroni and cheese.
Oh, you're about to make me say a word that I said I wouldn't say on this podcast. Boy.
She ain't gonna never eat it.
So you better ask somebody. You about to find out. You are about to find out.
I'm about to lose my job.
You're about to lose your job. Boy, bye. Look,
Well,
next time.
y'all can find over it, but y'all just both send me a plate. I don't care.
Oh, I'm so confident we can do this live.
Oh.
Easy, squeezy. I ain't worried.
You heard it here, folks.
All I need is what they say, low down dirty shame. All I need is what? Space and opportunity.
Shit, I got plenty of space. I'm ready. I am ready.
And she don't know who she messing with. I'm just saying, you see this right here?
I got that too.
Nah.
I got that too.
Look,
Andrea's like,
I'll see you on the other side of the kitchen, young buck.
Oh, oh,
Son.
oh, son. My
call me
always
son
forgetting
because I
ass.
shine like one.
We a mess, a whole mess.
Love y'all, and we will see you next time. We have something real fun coming up. So if you're still here at the end of this podcast, make sure you tune in soon. We got some news of something that is coming up that'll be really fun.
Yeah, super
All
excited.
right, we'll see y'all later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.